Okay. Give me just a moment here. Do things like popping out the chat. And otherwise get ready. And then, kaboom. Those of you who just tuned in, well, yeah, I just started. If you're watching this after the fact on YouTube, then don't forget the whole like, subscribe, bell icon, and the usual bits. Because, yeah. Hello, William! Now, tonight, what's going to happen is I've got, the people of my Saturday game. I haven't heard back on who wants to be sculpted tonight, so I'm probably going to end up detailing a Chimera. And by that, I mean the critter, not the vehicle from Warhammer 40k. Meanwhile, I have a Carlton down here. Yes? What are you doing? Oh, of course, he wants to hop up. And what show would it be without a visit from everyone's favorite, extremely affectionate Bouncy Fuzz? Yeah, sweet. What's the matter? Yeah. Yes, this is Carlton, for those of you who don't know. Again, those of you watching after the fact. And, yeah. He's very snuggly. Aren't you, you little crazy cat? Good. Same fuss butt. Go ahead and put him down. Now, okay, yeah. One problem with Carlton is, yeah, he doesn't. I don't cut their. I did not have them declawed. So Carlton has this tendency. He's really skilled with his claws. He'll hook my shirt without touching my skin. So I have to make sure to carefully, pull the claws out of the shirt so I don't go rip. Yeah. Okay. So like I said, it's unless someone comes up in the chat and says, "Yeah, hey, it's me from Saturday. I wrote my figure," then we're going to be doing a Chimera tonight. Now, the thing about this particular Chimera, it's based on the White Dragon, not on the Red Dragon, which means it's going to have the White Dragon crest, because it's a Frost Chimera. Instead of breathing fire, it breathes frost. Only game set difference. Just a Frost Chimera. It is based on the classic style of Chimera, where the it has, well, not the classic style, the modern style, where it's got a lion's head over here and a goat head here and the dragon head in the center going. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just, and then I'm going to load tool. Not there. It's in my D drive storage. 031019. 3D printing home meshes. Arctic Wasteland Critters Chimera. There we go. This is the current state of the Chimera. He's got pretty much almost all of the raw anatomy there, except he does not have the facial horns or the head horns that the White Dragon would have. I also really need to kind of thicken the teeth. Now the thing is, I've already done a Dynamesh, so the teeth are no longer a separate piece. Unless... There we go. And now we're gonna make them all visible again. Now. There we go. And now we're going to masking. We're going to inverse the mask. And we're going to deformation. And we're also going to zoom in. Oh, we can't zoom in on the teeth. We have to do it the hard way. Actually, what we need to do is we need to go back to masking and grow mask. And then shrink mask. Now we go to deformation. What that did was that kind of blurred it a little bit. Go to deformation, go to inflate. Well, way too big. And then shrink this. Reduce intensity quite a lot. And we're going to go over the tops of these teeth just to bring them back to a point. And then here. Burr, burr, burr. There's at least one. There's one tooth that I did not touch yet. That's this one. Okay, now we undo that. Frame out. There we go. Those teeth should be easier to print now. Now, the thing is, we need to do scales down the center, meeting to where, and touch up the scales on the arms here. And then fur on the sides, with a shaggier fur in front and on the lion's head, and a shorter fur in back and on the goat head. We also need to make those horns a bit more nasty. What we're going to do is we're going to hide those. We're then going to select all. And then pink. Alright, so we're going to zoom in on the horns. We're going to inflate them a little bit. But we're also going to use the masking. Actually, what I really should have done was blur mask. 1, 2. And under deformation, let's go to the inflate and very carefully inflate them a little bit because they are a little bit too thin. And then, actually no, we need to undo that. Let's make them out, make this a little bit bigger and move the tip a little. Just a little. Okay. So we have the head. Now you note that the fact that this horn is poking into the neck means this could never be done on a mold unless, you know, this was done kind of weirdly sideways with some serious potential of flash in here. Anyway. Alright, now I keep checking to see if any of my people show up. And so far, no. I gotta grab this sucker. My wake on. And with it, stylus. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to start off, we're going to hide Dadgummit. We're going to do it the old-fashioned way. Now to select here and here and here. What I'm trying to do is I'm going to be hiding what's blocking my way to making scales on that neck, which includes the goat head, and there. Then I go to masking, inverse, visibility, hide point. There. I can now get to the neck and start doing the scaling on the neck. I need to get this open because I need to make sure that my auto masking is always accessible, because this neck is so thin it's going to be a backface mask. 1.91. I'm going to end up having to double the... Actually, while I'm thinking about it, inflate. I need to come in here. Let's make this brush size by brush. Bring this in. And I'm going to bring this a little bit wider. And then a little faintly smaller. There. Because that tongue would have been difficult to print as well. Actually, yeah, let's go ahead and redo that whole... Because I need to subdivide it one. We're also going to Dynamesh it 1600 to redo those teeth and the horns. And divide. Delete lower. We have 10 million polygons now. Yay! Okay, so let's get that part of the head, get there. And there. Now, let's get this head marked. Marked for hiddening. The hiddening. Sounds like some kind of weird shaky cam found footage horror movie. Okay. Now, masking, inverse, visibility, hide point. Okay. Much better. Now, oh, not much better because I got something right there. Not, what is that? Oh, heck. Where did I accidentally mark? Ah, there. There we go. Nope. Rotate. Okay, up here. Yeah, there we go. I unhid it. I'm also going to go ahead under display properties. I'm going to make this double-sided just so I can see what I'm doing. Okay, now we need the we're going to work on the head first. And so one of the things we've got to do is we've got to pull up what will be the ridge. We're going to do that with the clay buildup tool and a round alpha. Going to make sure that we have stroke lazy mouse is off for this. And what we're going to do, we're going to come in way and just kind of first of all, let's make this bigger. And then smooth it. And then we're going to move. We're going to make sure that the mouse is big enough to kind of start coming in. We're going to pull it up a bit like this. Make it bigger. And then back to smaller. And then back to bigger. Okay. Then we're going to bring this to full, and we're going to smooth out the whole of it. And now we're going to inflate the front ridge. We're going to do this without backface masking. And then as flat as possible, we're going to grab it with snake hook and pull it out like that. And there we have his central ridge. Now, one thing we do need to do, we need to go ahead and give him kind of, I guess the best word for this would be stunted horns. What we're going to do this is we're going to come in here and just and then with damn standard, turn off lazy mouse and reduce the intensity quite a bit and reduce the size quite a bit. And we're going to kind of draw it around there. Okay. Little stunty horns. Alright. And hello, Ben! We are detailing a Chimera. And then we're going to make this smaller and make it more intense because we're going to be outlining these eyes. Okay, now we're going to make it a little bit bigger, not quite so intense, and we're going to turn lazy mouse back on, and we're going to kind of trace around where these plates are. Because what's going to happen is we got to make sure that these plates keep a sharp division. And actually that's not an appropriate tool. We're going to use slash. Some tools behave differently for how they're whether they go in and out from viewport angle or that they go in and out from the normal of the mesh. AM standard goes in and out from the mesh normal. This goes in and out from the viewport angle. Nope. What's interesting is that as much as I go on about the innately unrealistic proportions of people miniatures, I really try to make my critter miniatures look as realistic as possible. Because otherwise it's more obvious and more cartoony with a critter than it is with a person. Perhaps because we're really used to seeing cartoony people in pop culture and that, but we can't take a cartoony creature seriously. Especially animals. When we see a cartoony animal, our first thought is not, oh, that's supposed to be, a dire wolf. No, we think, oh, that's a Disney wolf. We can get a little exaggerated, but not a lot. So, yeah. So I end up tending to make more realistic critters than people. I just heard a dog's life is measured in wags. You always get optimum wags per lifetime. Over. Move and get this last bit down here. Let's see, did I skip any? No, I didn't. Okay. Good. Oh, no, I skipped. No, I didn't skip it. Alright, frame out just to pull that. We got the plates. I need to come in with an inflate tool on these two bits right here because they're not going to. Alright, that was. First of all, it's too much. And second of all, that was over part of it, so. And Make this a little bit thicker so it'll print better. Right. Yeah. Now, get a quick vape and some soda, and I'll be into the next bit. Okay, while I'm thinking about it, there's a couple other places I really need to go in and cut in. Maybe not quite so deep, but definitely cut in. And that's under the jaw down here. Yes. Actually, we need to make that from this angle. Apparently, Mom is watching professional putt-putt. Something I didn't even know existed. And now... There we go. Now we're going to turn off Lazy Mouse and reduce the intensity quite a bit. And we're going to just kind of draw in the wrinkles in here. Okay. Now it's scale time. We're going to start off with a few patches. And the way we're going to do these patches is from the light box. I got some brushes recently. First of all, what's in the flip normal brush? No, that's just the face. Ah, there it is. Dragon VDM. Now this has a whole lot of insert mesh things. Or no, these aren't insert mesh. These are what are called, oh, what are they calling them anyway? Vertex normal displacement maps. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to make a few patches where it's going to be rougher than usual. Like, for example, next to... Oh, wrong way. No, not there. Instead, however, how about we go with this particular one? We're going to go here. And that's a bit too big. Yeah. No. We're going to stick to these single target bits like here. and here. So we got some horny bits on the shoulders next to the plates. And then some other good ones. Yeah, there we go. No, that's eye. Add some nodules between them. No, move it here. Okay, we got your basic spiky bits. We're gonna add a couple more things down on the back of the hip, and then we're gonna detail it all to match. Okay. For example, we're gonna go ahead and add on that. Actually, no, because that's off-centered. Now, everything else we're going to be doing by hand, pretty much. Now, the way to do a lot of what we're planning to do for the smaller scales on the neck, especially, all we're going to do is we're going to start off and make sure that we have the back face mask turned on. I'm going to come in and just are going to come in here. And then we're coming around this way. We're going to go diagonally up. Well, that first one got the corner of the jaw. Make sure that we occasionally get a partial Okay. I'm going to do the same thing here. Gonna look at the head and see how. Okay. Okay. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to go to inflate. We're going to go for a larger brush size, and we're going to bring the intensity down a bit more. We're going to basically come in and just do this so that it looks more like scales that are growing together and less like lines gouged into the skin. And now I'm going to hit Control Shift there, so we have those parts back because now they're not needed. I hit Frame Out. We can already see the detailing on the dragon portion of the Chimera. We can now start working. We're going to do a little bit more detailing on the head. What we're going to do it is we're going to use the layer brush. Turn off lazy mouse, bring that draw size down quite a lot. And no, we need it a lot stronger. We're also going to change the alpha to that. No. Go back to that. Increase the intensity quite a bit. Okay, we're going to make it a little bit bigger. And then we make our scales on the brow. And then we're going to go down. While I'm thinking about it, let's go get that slash. And gonna make it back face mask. Gonna draw in the nostril here. That we have a nice sharp nostril there. Then back to layer and continue making the scales down here and come up and around the nostril. Come around this way. We're going to make the mouse just a little bit bigger because we're going to make slightly larger scales around here. We want this, make sure that this head gets really, really armored look to it. All these heavy flat scales that protrude out. And they were coming out with these little splatting areas here. And we're going to kind of bring it forward here. You may hear a lot from people who do painting online that the head has to capture the attention. In this case, the dragon head has to really grab you as something definitely alien to the mammalian lion and goat. It has to be clearly something strange and twisted to make this into one creature. Okay. I do not know anything about CNC machines. And hello, Animation Maniac. Ben, I know nothing about CNC. I do not know anything at all about using them for gaming. So it's not something I can really give any advice on. I am not going to be that guy. I can't say if it's good for gaming. I can't say if it's bad for gaming. I just say that I don't know. Yeah. I'm sorry if I was kind of... I didn't know if you had left yet, so I just wanted to make sure I'd made my point. 3D I can talk about all day. But I seriously doubt most CNC routers will do this. This is an area where 3D printing pretty much rules. And then we're going to come down here. What we're going to do. Yeah, that's it. That's what we'll do. giving it that kind of a plate look on the eye socket. Okay, and then we're going to do something similar down here on the mouth. Too close. In case you're wondering why I just deleted the last three, it's because it started to overlap with the previous one, creating a ridge where they met. And that kind of does the opposite of what we want this to do. We don't want this to be a ridge. Also, last four didn't go far enough. We want a groove. We want these to be scales and not yeah. Actually, borderline scutes. I'll leave that. Because you want this lip here to really carry that feeling. One more, yeah. And then we're going to make the front of this one solid. Back face mask on. Thank you. And we're going to there we go. And then we're going to just add in a couple very faint little there we go. There's that. And then we're going to do the same thing. Well, first we're going to go ahead and don't want those to overlap. And coming in this way. Once again, we got it rid. And let's come around this way. Oh, ridge. And come up like that. Come up like that. Ridge. Okay. That's the mouth. And now we're just going to do some random bits and pieces here. Fully add in scaling onto the head. And if I have ridges here, I don't really care, because here is an area where you can be a little bit more abstract. Frame out to see how it looks. Yeah. Now the thing is, these scales, now it's going to be about size large, so it's going to be about that big. A lot of these scales won't really do well printing, but they'll give it that same kind of almost bumpy texture that you're seeing on the wings, which still carries the feeling of being scaled, especially compared to how the shag is going to be on the front end of the critter and on the head of the lion. I don't have symmetry activated because the critter is not symmetrical. Number one, it's already posed. Number two, it's got a goat head on one side and a lion head on the other. So symmetry would be a bad idea on this critter. As for hair and scales, you see what I'm doing for the scales. Oh god. Oh hell. What the? Hold on just a second. Alright. Oh Lord. Task manager. In case you didn't see what I just had, I'm getting a disk space is critically low error. Yeah. Okay, I need to do something real quick. I'm going to show you what's happening. What was happening is I was getting disk critically low error because apparently my, which doesn't make sense. I do not have a 111 gigabyte C drive. That should be a 512 gigabyte. So there's a problem there. And I only have 19 gig free. So, one thing I'm going to do, preferences, mem. Performance, edit, transpose, gizmo, geometry, misc, undo, history, quick save. I hate to do this, but delete quick save files. And now, when I pull up this PC, 22.4. Yeah, that's a problem. This is a total problem. Especially when I'm starting to get into something this detailed. Okay. Anyway, let's get back to work. Scales, well, all I can say is you're seeing what I'm doing for scales. For these down here, I just basically made a grid and made them swollen a bit. It works better. I'm going to go in later and mark off some edges to make them sharper, make them like they're more plates. And for the head scales, the more flexible scales, I'm actually just drawing them all on. Lizard style, I should note. By that I mean lizards, their scales butt up against each other. Fish and snakes, their scales overlap. It could be said that most lizard scales are geared for mobility, whereas snake and fish are geared towards armor, but as thin as most fish scales are, that's a bit of a not likelihood. Okay. And after we do this, we're gonna go back to a bigger, getting in some wrinkles up here. We're gonna go for a bigger scale brush, and we're gonna finish up the lower jaw, and then we're gonna start doing stuff on the back and the belly. And then 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Bridge. Yeah, it's easier to start away from the other scales and work in. to prevent that little ridge. Make sure we get it in there. Now let me go ahead and swing it back around vertical. Oh, nope, we do not need that there. And no, nor there. I hate it when it does that. Okay. Sometimes you'll have an issue with your mouse and tablet that it will, instead of actually drawing, it'll show your cursor location like you would just press Control. That is annoying. And it's not a Wacom thing, by the way. It's a Windows thing. Okay, now bring in a little dot in there, and then just I want to make these scales irregular so they look more natural and not like little balls or little perfect circles like that, which I don't want. Just a little bit to distort the shape. Okay. Now, what I was talking about earlier, let me show you what happens. We're going to use /add, drop that intensity down quite a lot. And now that lazy mouse is off, we're going to go in at least on the nearest to the head. And we're going to draw on that. Okay, that tells me I need to increase this intensity quite a bit. I'm going to draw on the point on the bottom of each of these. Gives it a bit more of a ridge to it and makes it look less like just drawn on lines and more like overlapping plates. And we're also going to go ahead and get lighter as we go down near the base of the neck. Just because it's going to be easier to deal with. Now let me get some soda, which involves taking the old soda out of my can and taking one last splash and dripping it on myself. Stupid beard. And then getting one out of here. Ow! Don't. And I dropped it, by the way, so I can't drink it yet. Let that sit and calm down. While I go back in and do the rest of this side of the neck. Now, once again, we go in, we're just gonna okay, frame out. Let's take a look. Yeah, that's looking a lot better now. I'm pretty certain I can consider the dragon head complete. So, what we're going to do now is we're going to go back to layer, make it just a little bit bigger, and we're going to draw on some scales down the center until we get to the tail. Because most of the side, we're also going to, yeah. And just a little bit here because it meets down at that muscle there. We're gonna then deal with the tail end, no pun intended. Now here, we've got, we're gonna have a mammalian underbelly. So these are gonna be used to okay, and there we go, that's that. And we're also going to go ahead and do the crotch is also going to be covered with scales to help explain, well, why doesn't he have a sheath? Well, it's because he's got a cloaca. Or cloaca, or however you pronounce the darn word. Yes, I get strange sometimes when I'm sitting here concentrating on something. And I have seen people ask, well, why didn't you sculpt genitalia? Because I'm not into bestiality. But I didn't want to dare say that because that would cause people to accuse me of kink shaming or be like, that's not what I meant. No, but why would you want? I mean, this is not intended to be a photoreal study of an actual animal, which is applicable in art. This is intended to be a tabletop miniature for a monster, not an actual living thing. They don't even have to have any means of reproduction, especially if the product of either the gods going or wizards going, A, B, C. Yeah! Okay. Now, that's pretty much all I'm going to do for the... Sorry. Pretty much all I'm going to do for the dragon portion. No, no, no. Carlton? No. I've got my tablet in my lap, and you know you're not supposed to do that. Down on the floor. Shoot. Sorry about that. Now, look, next thing we're going to do, let's see what happens. Okay. And what we're going to do now is we're going to hide those points. This leaves us with the wing veins, and it's time to start sculpting them. Actually, no. I need to... Why did I do that? Yeah, and then masking invert. Yeah, and then blur mask. Now, I can do one of two ways of doing these veins. One is I can do wrinkles going back and forth between the wings, or I can do veins. What I could do is wrinkles on the back and veins on the inside, but that kind of doesn't really fit. So what I'm going to go ahead and do... I don't need the blob brush. Stupid cat stepped on the button, didn't they? Alright, so... those. Oh. We're going to... the orb cracks to sub. Make it bigger. So we can go ahead and do this. Let's make it backface mask. Okay. Alright. So I'm going to do it here. And then... there. This down like that, and then... Yoop. The Yoopers. Yes, that's actually a band. The Yoopers. They did a song called Second Week of